Nearly 1 decade ago, the biggest Melee tournament of all time happened at EVO 2016. At 2,372 entrants, Hungrybox's victory went down as not only one of the greatest matches ever played, but a community achievement, a ceiling that appeared impossible to ever touch again. But somehow, this past weekend, the record was broken. This is not a sentence I ever thought I would be uttering in 2025, but with 2,422 entrants, Supernova has officially passed EVO 2016 as the biggest Melee tournament of all time. And it was cinema. Huel has paid to be mentioned in today's video. Huel sent me their Black Edition powders in chocolate, cookies and cream, and coffee caramel flavors, and they honestly taste great. They've been a great pantry ad for me since I tend to be in and out of the house pretty frequently during the summers, so being able to quickly slug down a complete meal with some solid macros has helped me a ton while I'm on the go and swinging on the volleyball court. Hey, check it out. That's me hitting the ball kinda hard, actually. Cool. Anyway, I like that the Huel Black Edition powders have all the nutrients you'd need, including the right amount of protein, essential fats, carbohydrates, fiber, vitamins, and minerals as part of a balanced diet. The math checks out too, and it's really affordable, starting from $2.65 per meal. Plus, the shaker is really sleek too, unironically one of the nicer ones I've used. If you're interested, you can try Huel for 15% off today by using my code TDFW15 on a minimum order value of $75, or you can click the link in the description or even scan this fancy QR code you see on the corner of your screen. Thanks again to Huel for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get back into it. Alright, so like I've done in the last couple of videos, I'm going to start with a couple personal anecdotes. I really like the Supernova series. Like other events I've mentioned on the channel, I've more or less entered the scene by working as a media and video guy. The first SmashCon I went to was in 2019, and I remember making a fun cinematic recap of the event, which I'll show you guys now. It wasn't until Super SmashCon 2022 though where I was given my very first top 4 block. I had just started my journey as a commentator with top 8 blocks in Melee while expanding into other games, but had never been given the chance to close out the show for Melee. I was really nervous. I still get nervous even now, but this one especially. But I gotta say, Vish was such a good partner to carry me through my very first top 4 block. And to add on to all the excitement, we got a Mango Hungrybox Grands, which was such a cool thing for me as a relatively new community member, but very legacy watcher. But my gratitude to the series aside, I will say pretty openly that by nearly all accounts, this biggest tournament record is at best scuffed to at worst fraudulent. Myself and others expected a pretty high number of DQs, like over 50% high, but thanks to PTAS, we have the actual numbers. The final DQ count? 688, which is a lot, I'm not gonna lie. That's around 28% DQs. If we were to take that number away from the final registration count of 2422, we're left with a real count of 1734, which would place Supernova around 4th all time by entrants. Now, obviously, that's assuming all of these other events had a 0% DQ rate, which is also unrealistic, but I kinda think it's safe to assume a lot of these events where you had to pay to compete probably didn't exceed like 30% DQs. But at the end of the day, regardless of any asterisks, Supernova is the biggest Melee tournament ever. And the biggest storyline we had going into the biggest tournament ever was, we just got a ranking. That's right, the SSBM Rank Summer 2025 Top 50 was just released in the week leading up to Supernova. And while I have some opinions about some rankings, the big question for this tournament weekend was how our freshly summer ranked players would end up performing. The top 3 players of this summer claimed a spot on the podium because each of them had at least one major win. Hungrybox at 3rd with 1, Zane at 2nd with 2, and Cody Schwab at 1st with 3. And spoiler alert, these 3 actually held to the tournament's seeding as well as their fresh rankings by placing within top 3 of the tournament, but I'd argue there was an even bigger story happening within Supernova's top 4, and it came from a previously retired top player making a grand return. But before I get into that, I need to talk about this kid, and actually the entire region he plays from. Rap Monster was a player I've mentioned a couple of times in the last couple of months. He came up in my Gommel recap where he got the best major performance from a Luigi player post-pandemic with wins over Crudo and Preeminent, and I made a couple of shorts featuring him. like the one where he took Wizrub to Game 5 at CEO, or the one where I go over players who I classify as the new generation of Melee players. He just got ranked as the 30th best player in the world on his debut summer ranking, and with the way he's trending, I wouldn't be all that surprised if he reaches top 20 or even better by the end of year ranks. In my opinion, Rat Monster is redefining the way we look at Luigi in Melee. I'm probably going to make an entire video covering him at some point, let me know in the comments if you want to see that, but he's easily the most technically proficient player I've ever seen with the character. His decision making is on point, and the craziest part is he's still in high school. Now, of course, I wouldn't be mentioning him if he didn't go on another bonkers run here, and he got 13th at the biggest tournament ever with wins over Null and Crudo, as well as the clip of the tournament on Agent.
I feel like, at least me, I've been talking about this match more from the perspective of Rat Monster, but I think Agent is doing an incredible job at just choking Rat Monster out of resources.
The up smashes are missing now. The shield grabs that Rat Monster was missing before are hitting now.
Oh my god!
And that's what happens. Going for these big commits like up smash. Not being tight enough on your tech and getting shield grab. These are the things Luigi needs.
Potentially final stock for Agent. Here comes the edge.
Oh,
You are on last stock, brother! What are you doing? Oh
my...
No! Relax! Oh, he's just a boy!
ends it!
Rat Monster!
No way!
Are you kidding me? All hail! There's a new King of Luigi in town, and he's just a boy!
And the crowd bows down appropriately.
I can't believe, what did we just see? What was that?
Side B, you could have chosen any angle and you went right into the loving misfire, or the loving side B.
I cannot believe a child of this age has chosen violence this young. Are you kidding me? Somebody clip that. You're absolutely right. Put it in the history books. There's a new Luigi in town. He's a top 30 player in the world, and he's still in high school.
Come Sunday though, Rat Monster wasn't the only player from the MDVA region making big waves. In fact, 5 of the players who made it to top 16 were from MDVA. Rat Monster plus Zane, Crike, Junebug, and Kevin Maples. In the case of Crike, this was his first ever major top 8, which is pretty crazy considering he entered Supernova as the 27th seed. Overall, it was just pretty cool to me to see a major tournament's home region show up in a big way, and I just wanted to highlight that as a fun little storyline to accompany the main dish. Also, quick vibe check, just wanted to pop in and say if you're enjoying my content, maybe consider subscribing. Thanks. Although our top 3 placed to their respective seeds, none of those players were the biggest story in top 4. That honor would instead go to Ginger, a previously retired top Valko player who reached an unbelievable 4th place following his sudden return to competition this year. After spending a year away from competing, Ginger made a bit of a quiet return to the game with a 17th place at Gommel. A very solid placement in my opinion after being 1 year removed from Melee in an era some have considered the most challenging yet. At Supernova though, Ginger beat Grab, Aura, Sirmiris, Jmook, Axe, and Aklo, and in my opinion, he's giving us another exciting Falco to watch in the absence of Mango. In addition to this career high performance, Ginger also became one of only 33 players in Melee's history to claim a top 4 finish at a Super Major. His run ultimately came to a close by the hands of Hungrybox, which brings me to my next segment, the new Big 3. Last year, I made a near 2.5 hour long recap of the year of Melee in 2023. For keen viewers of my channel, you might have noticed I haven't yet posted one for 2024, and that I've been alluding to a project that I've been working on since the start of this year, so yeah, expect to see a 2024 movie soon. But one of the big narratives I wrote into that 2023 video was that of the Big 3. Zane, Cody, and Jmook, a newer age set of players who more or less define that competitive year of Melee. In 2025, it appears the Big 3 still exists in some capacity. Zane and Cody still exist a tier above everyone else, but Hungrybox has returned to his godlike status over 15 years into his career. As I mentioned before, these 3 players pretty unanimously took the top 3 spots of the 2025 summer rank, largely in part due to these 3 being the only players to have won at least 1 major this year. And at Supernova, they held true to their seeds. Hungrybox, after falling to Aklo outside of top 8, mounted a small loser side run over Spark, Crike, Moki, and Ginger before falling to Cody Schwab in yet another nail-biting Game 5 set between the 2.
Last stock for Hungrybox, and with how difficult it has been to pin Cody down off stage, it's looking like this one could go 5 games in Cody's favor again.
He's made it back every time.
Yeah. Oh, man.
It's mind-boggling.
Yo, these lasers, they might be the dagger.
Fox over 100 is best character in the game.
55% is quite a lead here right
Oh,
now.
yeah,
I mean, this is grab pummel up throw up air, right? Like,
Right.
it's pretty much going to be it, and that secures it more or less.
Oh.
He's got the up air.
Yep,
He's
and
got
there
the
it goes.
stock, and he has got the set in 5 for the 7th time in the last 2 years. Cody Schwab returning back to Grand Finals at Supernova 2025.
Dang.
But with that, we were left with our perhaps obvious top 2 for the biggest tournament in Melee history, the current 2 best players in the world, Cody and Zain. Zain made it to Grand Finals on the winner's side relatively unscathed, losing only a single game to Cody in winner's finals, while Cody had a close call with SDJ before eventually falling to Zain, and then won the aforementioned set against Hungrybox to make it back to Grands on the loser's side. And after only a single set and yet another close Game 5 added to Melee's top modern rivalry, Zain emerged victorious in his home region, giving him his 2nd Supernova win lifetime, as well as the title of the player who's won the biggest tournament in Melee history.
Cody has to stay confident on his edge guard routes, even though he has 1 stock left.
You got to be careful there, too, because I thought Zayn was going to tech that. Nice shine grab, okay. Oh, wait.
Oh, this
that
is
might
big.
be it.
This might be it.
Oh,
There.
Oh, the weak hit.
But the jab,
He's got it.
Dunk.
He's got it. He doesn't want to commit. He has it this time. Surely.
He does it.
Okay. It is enough to do it. And Zayn Nagmi, your Supernova 2025 champion. He's got 2 in a row.
That's right. Zayn's got it all.
Let's go.
He's got it all, winning the world's biggest tournament in history.
The biggest tournament of all time, and now you can see the emotion has come from this man, Zayn Nagmi, number 2 in the world as of this summer, making a statement with the gold medal
Number
here.
1 today, though.
Number
That's
1
right.
today.
Let's go.
Yo.
Let's go.
Doing it on the home turf.
On
as well.
the whole turf, bro.
That has been the narrative of Melee in this modern era. There are no free meals. Zayn knows he has to work for every single victory, and that's why he waited for that emotion to finally come out. He's got his big victory at the biggest tournament to ever be.
On commentary, I mentioned in both of the Zayn Cody sets how this run from Zayn felt a bit different from the similar trajectory these players had at Tipped Off 16. Zayn, after beating Cody at Tipped Off, hit the LeBron James and released so much energy, but ultimately did not win the tournament. This time at Supernova, when he advanced to Grands over Cody, it was all business. In Zayn's post-tournament interview, I asked him about that, and he said it was a conscious decision.
I just feel like Tipped Off, I couldn't really control it because I was like, everyone was calling me washed, and like, I really wanted to beat Cody. So for some reason, that winner's semis set, I think it was semis that we played, had a lot of weight to it, and I like popped off, and I felt like I won the tournament. And I don't want to say it was the reason I lost. Like, that's definitely not why I lost the tournament, but it definitely, like, in retrospect, I was like, I'm not making that same mistake again. Like, I want to like make sure I conserve some energy and like make sure Tipped Off doesn't happen again.
Breaking the record for the biggest major ever, it was only fitting that the last person standing on the podium was Zayn on his home turf. A player who has not only made his case to be the best player in the world in 2025, but one of the best to ever do it in the game's history. Zayn has now tied Cody for 3 major wins in this year, while also advancing his head-to-head against his greatest opponent to 5-3. In addition to the title of winner of the biggest tournament ever, Zayn clocks his 20th lifetime major victory, putting him at only 3 majors away from passing Armada, who currently sits at 3rd all time. I've mentioned it many times in separate long and short videos, but just by virtue of his wins, it is undeniable that Zayn is on his way to entering the GOAT conversation if he hasn't already. Melee, for as long as it has existed, is somehow entering another new era, led by young and illustrious talent. And if past performance is indicative of future success, I'm really excited to see how our players continue to raise the glass ceiling for many years to come. And honestly, whether you believe in Supernova's record-breaking status or not, I think it's pretty cool that regardless of era, after so many years, a 20-some-odd-year-old game can bring thousands of people together and seemingly do the impossible. Thanks for watching.
Right.
Obviously, I'm gonna think about the ranking at the end of the day.
Right.
It's just like the nature of it. But I just want to look back at my career and think like I went into every tournament just trying to win, and I think that's just the coolest way to approach it.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. I had this video written like a few days after the tournament, but had to wait on a sponsor to approve it, so sorry for a bit of a delay here. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the watch, and if you did, just do me a favor and interact with it in some way so the internet machine knows we're doing a good job. Like I said before, I have plenty of other stuff in the pipeline, so get excited for even more content coming from this channel and my ultimate one, and we're actually on our way to 200,000 subscribers here, which is honestly crazy, so thank you so much. This channel is funded by my Patreon and YouTube memberships. Thanks to Avishua Stein, Bobby Wasabi, Dark Genix, Eric is Cool, Gustavo Cantu Fernandez, Henry Huang, Ian, Jazz the Pirate, Justin Duncan Mills, Kyle Carlin, Marshall Bradley, and Sam Wright.